Hi, good evening. I'll first like to apologize for late starting of this event. I was stuck in an emergency case, that's why we had to delay this session by a few minutes. Friends, we all know these days we are dealing with a very worst pandemic and what we call it as COVID infection. And because of this COVID pandemic, there's a lot of stress that is going on, and we all know we are concerned about our health. So today in today's live Facebook session, in next 15 to 20 minutes, we'll try to understand how diabetes and our heart disease is different. I mean, how a patient suffering from diabetes or heart disease has to take care so as to prevent any COVID infection. Now, first try to discuss in short about what is COVID or the corona virus infection, how it affects our body, and what all precautions we can take. Coronavirus, it basically is a virus which has come up, initiated in some part of China, and gradually now it has spread all over the world. The mode of entry of this virus is through the respiratory system, that is, it enters our body through the nasal cavity or through the oral cavity from the aerosols. Those are generated from the patients who are suffering from this COVID infection. Now, once this virus gets entry in our body in sufficient quantity, it dwells into the cells or the lining of our airway system, and then gradually it gets access to our lungs and through the blood. Now this virus multiplies inside the body, and it mainly affects the lung and causes viral pneumonitis or the inflammation or infection of the lung. Because of that, there is difficulty in breathing, there is high grade fever. Now whenever there is any infection, body tries to protect our body by acting against it using its T cell and WBC cells. Because of that, there is a fever response from the body, and because of the affection of the lung, there is decrease in the oxygen mixing of the from the air that we inhale into the blood, and that causes a lot of breathlessness. So the initial symptoms are high grade fever, and then patients start feeling breathless. This is the point when most of our patients come to hospital. Now, although this disease affects lungs mainly, but it is not that it can not affect the other organs. We all know all the organs in the body, they are interrelated, and they act in synchrony. So whenever there is affection of one organ, there is definitely affection of other organs of the body. So lungs get affected, there is decrease in the oxygen concentration in the blood, what we call it as hypoxia, and other organs do suffer. The studies from China and other western countries have also shown that along with the lungs, it does affect heart, kidneys, and the blood. The effect on heart mainly is in the form of there is increased tendency or the overactivity because of the sympathetic overaction, and that leads to increase in the heart rate. There is fluctuation in the blood pressures. Most of the patients initially have increase in the blood pressure, but in end stages and with significant infection, the blood pressures go down. There has been increase in the incidence of heart attacks in patients who are suffering from COVID infection. It is thought that this COVID infection or this virus, it increases the clogging or the blood clot forming tendency in the body, and that leads to formation of blood clots in the arteries supplying the heart. And along with that, because of the increase in the requirement of the blood in the body because of the infection, the overacting heart and decrease in the blood supply leads to precipitation of heart attack. Many of the patients were also found to have sudden deaths, or patient who were doing had a collapse, and it is thought that this viral infection also causes arrhythmias, that is sudden increase in the heart rate in the body. We all know our resting heart rate is like 70 80s, and when we exert it goes to 130 140 150. But when we have this ventricular tachycardias or arrhythmias, the heart rate increases suddenly, it reaches to 200, 250, and there is decrease in the effective pumping of the heart, leading to decrease in the blood pressure, and patient collapses, and there can be fatalities. So these are the two major presentations of the heart. Now coming back to how the patients who are suffering from diabetes or heart disease can take care so as to prevent the complications of COVID infection. See, we all know prevention is better than cure, so we all will try to work towards prevention of this infection. So if you are suffering from diabetes, hypertension, or any heart disease, I would suggest you should be doubly cautious as to prevent this infection so that the complications or the ill effects of these infections are prevented. So first and foremost thing that is most important is social distancing, as is being publicized everywhere, as government is taking all these steps to prevent patients coming in contact with normal population. Social distancing is most important. We know the aerosols or the source of infection is the small airway secretions. Those are excreted by the patient into the atmosphere when they cough, speak, or when they sneeze. So this aerosols, they travel over a period of 3 to 6 feet, a maximum 2.5 meters. So we should try to avoid coming in close contact with any individual in whom we suspect to have infection. To be safe, we don't know today who is suffering from infection. So if we try to maintain social distancing, avoid crowding, probably we'll be able to prevent the occurrence of infection. Second thing would be taking due precautions to maintain hygiene. It is advisable that we wear mask throughout whenever we are out of our houses. Ideally, we should use N95 mask, but if they are not available, even a triple layer surgical mask would suffice. It is being said that if we don't have surgical masks, even a clean washed linen mask, double layer mask, can prevent a lot of infections. So we should use mask whenever we are stepping out of our houses and when we think we'll be coming in contact with the patients. When we are at home, probably these masks are not required, but whenever we are out, we should use mask. Make it a point that as soon as you come home, you should not touch the outer surface of the mask, and the surgical mask, they are single use disposable. So after 24 hours of use, we should dispose the mask covered in a piece of paper so that they don't infect our surroundings or infect the scavengers or the people who are taking care of cleaning and removing the garbages. Third most important thing would be to continue to take our medicines regularly. These days we are coming across many patients who have stopped or decreases the dose of medicines because of non-availability or not going to doctors. See, I would say even if you cannot reach your doctor, at least continue with whatever doses of medicines you are taking. Let's say if you are suffering from diabetes and you omit your diabetes medicines, that would lead to increase in the sugar levels, and we all know higher sugar levels decreases our immunity and increases our propensity for this infection. So we have to take all the medicines on time as prescribed by the doctor. If at all you have the glucometers at home, you should regularly check your sugars, and if at all you find your sugars are not in range, you can telephonically consult your doctor if you cannot go physically and modify the doses so as to maintain sugars in normal level. Then one more important thing that for blood pressure patients, they should continue their BP medicines and check their blood pressures regularly, because of a lot of stresses and negative news those are coming up everywhere with this COVID pandemics, financial crisis and all those things. We all know the occurrence of, and thus we should take our BP medicines on time and check our blood pressures regularly. If at all you find slightest of symptoms in the form of breathlessness, chest pain, any fever or anything, you should reach to the nearest hospital or the fever clinic, either established by the government or the private doctors. Now after that, it is important to take care of the diet. We all know because of this lockdown, we have been staying at homes, and there has been increase in the consumption of the junk foods and a lot of small meals. So I would recommend we should avoid all these junk foods and small recurrent foods and we should be very stringent with our diet. Increased usage of fruits and salads in our diet can promote immunity, and that would be very useful. One important thing is hydration. We know right now in our country we are facing scorching sun, and because of that the temperatures are high and there is risk of dehydration. Our Muslim colleagues, they have been doing fast, and again there is risk of dehydration. So we should take ample amount of fluids. If we are suffering from heart disease, if your doctor has suggested to avoid high amount of fluids, in that case probably you should not indulge in taking too much of fluids. Otherwise, normal individuals without any heart or kidney disease should take adequate amount of fluids throughout the day so as to maintain good hydration. Fourth important thing that is more important probably is mental relaxation. We do always talk of controlling sugars, blood pressure, we talk of hydration, diet, but mental stress management is many times missed. So make it a point that we do lot of yoga, meditation, indulge in our hobbies, and use music, and maybe talking with our friends and families so as to keep our stress under control. Because if at all we have mental stress, that can lead to accelerated hypertension, that can precipitate a cardiac event, that can cause I'm sorry for that. That can cause accelerated hypertension, and it can be complicated things. So, friends, if we take these small measures in the form of avoiding going out of houses if possible, and going out only for essential things, maintaining social distancing, taking healthy, adequate diet, maintaining hydration, taking our medications on time, and consulting our doctors if at all we have slightest of symptom, we can prevent a lot of complications and occurrence of this COVID infection. We have some questions I'd like to discuss in next 5 minutes. So the first question is whether diabetics are more prone for COVID infection. So see, diabetic patients, because of the increased sugar and decrease in the effective insulin secretion, they have decrease in the immunity. Most of the diabetic patients are elderly, they have associated hypertension, and they do have heart disease in many cases. So because of all this complex synergy of all these diseases, what we call it as metabolic syndrome, the inherent immunity of these patients is low, and that's why these patients are more prone for COVID infection. But it's not like every diabetic patient is going to get COVID infection, and if due care is taken, we can very well prevent COVID infection. One more point I'd like to stress here is that even if you get a COVID infection, if you are suffering from diabetes and hypertension, it is not like it is a death sentence. From whatever data we have, even in diabetic population, the mortality rates or the complication rates are not more than 6 to 7%. So out of 100, 94-95% of the patients recover, and it is only 5 to 6% of them who suffer serious complications. So it's not like if at all we have COVID-19, it's going to be fatal in all the cases. Now then there is a question that how we can be prepared for the infection if we are suffering from diabetes. As I was stressing, if at all you have diabetes, what we can do is like prevention. So if we try to prevent getting infected by maintaining good immunity, maintaining sugar levels, following all government norms in the form of social distancing, avoiding stepping out of houses without any very emergent or essential work, and doing teleconsultation or contacting your doctors for the any health elements if you are facing, probably we can prevent a lot of infections and take care of ourselves. Then now there is a question that how this viral infection affects heart. As I had stressed in the start of my talk, that the different modes of cardiac complications or the heart complications in this COVID infection are most commonly they lead to fluctuations in the blood pressure. Then there can be occurrence of the cardiac event in the form of heart attacks because of increase in the blood clotting tendencies in the body. Then there are arrhythmias, those have been reported. Arrhythmias are fluctuations in the heart rate. The normal heart rate, that is deranged, and there is sudden increase or drop in the heart rate, and that leads to decrease in the effective pumping of the heart and causes decrease in the blood pressure, sometimes leading to complications. I'm sorry for that. Now there is a question that are the patients with heart disease, diabetes or hypertension at increased risk of getting corona infection? See, as I was stressing, diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, all these comorbidities lead to decrease in the immunity of the body. So whenever we have decrease in the immunity, the risk of occurrence of infection increases. See, even the second problem is, if at all a patient suffering from heart disease, diabetes or hypertension gets infected with COVID infection, the risk of complications increase because of the diseased organ systems. When we say heart disease, their hearts are not functioning normally. When we talk of diabetes, it is the derange in the metabolic activity in the body. The insulin, the pancreas are not working properly. The effective insulin secretion or action is not adequate. So in such scenario, if a patient gets infection, the risk of complications increases. That's why we tend to prevent occurrence of this disease in this population. Then there is a question as to what are the precautions those need to be taken in elderly population. We all know as age advances, all the body systems, the efficiency of their functioning go down and immunity is low. So from whatever data we have from our country, from Western population, from the China, which was the epicenter of this disease, the maximum complication rate was more in patients who are more than 60 years. So in this population, there has to be strict avoidance of going into public areas or stepping out of houses, and they have to take all their medicines properly, maintain hydration, and to consult doctor with slightest of the symptoms so as to prevent progression of the disease and causing complications. Then there is discussion about the vaccines for COVID infection. So friends, till date we don't have any vaccine that is established and found to be perfectly safe and useful in COVID infection. Many vaccines are being tried, but as of today there is no FDA approved or the Indian government approved vaccine that is in the market that can be used. Then there is a question about whether influenza vaccine helps in corona infection. Well, influenza is totally different virus, and taking a influenza vaccine is not going to protect us from corona infection. Influenza vaccine is recommended in extremes of ages, that is in pediatric population and in elderly populations, and in patients who have associated comorbidities in the form of kidney disease, in the form of heart disease, in the form of severe asthma or damaged lungs. In this population, we routinely advise them to take influenza vaccine once a year, but that would only prevent infections and complications of influenza. They are not going to prevent corona infection. Then this is the question about role of meditation and yoga. So we all know yoga and meditation have been the best stress buster strategies. It had been practiced in our country for ages, and our rishis and sadhus devised this yoga technique for mental relaxation. Meditation and yoga has been accepted by science also as an effective means of maintaining homeostasis in our brain, as I would say, that is maintaining peace and preventing stress. So we know because of this COVID infection, there is a lot of stress in the surrounding. We get a lot of negative news in our televisions, in our WhatsApp, in all social media, in our newspapers. So there's always stress going on. Whenever we are discussing, there's always a discussion about all these complications occurring because of COVID. Now, how to get rid of this mental stress? So I would suggest, if at all you know how to, doing proper yoga and meditation, trying to indulging in your hobbies. Some people like gardening, some of them like to do some other home chores so as to take care of mental stress. Reading is a good way, listening music, all these things and adequate sleep can help us in mental relaxation and preventing complications related to mental stress. then there is a question like when should heart disease seek medical intervention? See, there are two scenarios, those are possible. One scenario is like patient who is known with heart ailment and he develops fever or he has got cough. So if at all person gets fever and he has got cough, I would recommend he should consult a nearby fever OPD. Government has set up n number of multiple fever OPDs. You can go and consult there, or we have doctors, our family doctors, or the physicians who are serving people even in this crisis situation. So we should consult them. Many of the doctors now are available on teleconsultation. So what we can do is like initially you can try to have teleconsultation. If at all your doctor feels there are some warning signs, it's better to go and see him. The warning signs, if you ask me, would be continuous high grade fever. If a person who has otherwise felt starts feeling breathless, I mean on walking 10 steps or even at rest. We have also been reading or hearing that many of our patients who don't have signs and symptoms of corona, but they are getting symptoms of heart disease in the form of chest pain, breathlessness, or swelling in the limbs, or falling unconscious. But because of the fear of corona, they are not taking the medical advice or going to hospital. Friends, believe me, the risk of complication because of heart disease or myocardial infarction is far more than corona infection. So because of fear of corona, if we don't go to our hospitals, and if at all our relative or ourselves are suffering from heart disease, we may have to pay the price. So I would suggest such risk. So if at all you have any symptoms of any other disease, it's always better to go and see the doctor. All the hospitals and doctors are taking due care. If at all we use mask and go to hospital, it's not compulsory that you are going to get the corona infection there. So not taking a medical consultation for other ailments because of the fear of corona can prove very deleterious. Now then the question is, what are the guidelines for diabetes patient related to COVID-19? As I have been discussing throughout my talk, their guidelines are like maintain your sugars in normal level, take adequate medicines, avoid junk foods, take healthy diet, maintain hydration, and if at all you see slightest of the symptoms, consult your doctor. Along with this, all the precautions, those have been publicized, those have been advised by the government and other health care workers, that is social distancing, using mask, washing hands with sanitizers and soaps can take and prevent a lot of infections. So if there are no more questions, I think I've tried to cover the basic guidelines, those we have to follow during this period. Let's pray, let's try to be safe, avoid going into public, avoiding coming in contact with patients, taking due precautions, and save ourselves and our community. Thank you.